ejected and rejected their stupidity. And the only way to do that is to provide you with a high value education. So I'm going to read you a little essay on truth that I wrote. I think you're going to love it. It's called Love. Now the Magus is love, and bindeth together that and this in his conjuration. The formula of tetragrammaton is the complete mathematical expression of love. Its essence is this: any two things unite, with a double effect. Firstly, the destruction of both, accompanied by the ecstasy due to the relief of the strain of separateness. Secondly, the creation of a third thing, accompanied by the ecstasy of the realization of existence, which is joy, until with development it becomes aware of its imperfection and loves. The formula of love is universal. All the laws of nature are its servitors. Thus, gravitation, chemical affinity, electrical potential, and the rest, and these are alike mere aspects of the general law, are so many differently observed statements of the unique tendency. The universe is conserved by the duplex action involved in the formula. The disappearance of father and mother is precisely compensated by the emergence of son and daughter. It may therefore be considered as a perpetual motion engine which continually develops rapture in each of its phases. The sacrifice of Iphigenia at Aulis may be taken as typical of the formula. The mystical effect is the assumption of the maid to the bosom of the goddess, while for the magical, the destruction of her earthly part, the faun, composes the rage of Iolus and bids the Danaids set sail. Now, it cannot be too clearly understood or too acutely realized by means of action that the intensity of the joy liberated varies with the original degree of opposition between the two elements of the union. Heat, light, electricity are phenomena expressive of the fullness of passion, and their value is greatest when the diversity of the energies composing the marriage is most strenuous. One obtains more from the explosion of hydrogen and oxygen than from the dull combination of substances indifferent to each other. Thus, the union of nitrogen and chlorine is so little satisfying to either molecule that the resulting compound disintegrates with explosive violence at the slightest shock. We might say then, in the language of Thelema, that such an act of love is not love under will, it is, so to speak, a black magical operation, like Princessia and Diego. Let us consider in a figure the feelings of a molecule of hydrogen in the presence of one of oxygen or of chlorine. It is made to suffer intensely by the realization of the extremity of its deviation from the perfect type of monad, by the contemplation of an element so supremely opposed to its own nature at every point. So far as it is egoist, its reaction must be scorn and hatred, but as it understands by the true shame that is put upon its separateness by the presence of its opposite, these feelings turn to anguished yearning. It begins to crave the electric spark which will enable it to assuage its pangs by the annihilation of all those properties which constitute its separate existence in the rapture of union, and at the same time to fulfill its passion, to create a perfect type of peace. We see the same psychology everywhere in the physical world and on Clown House. A stronger and more elaborate illustration might well have been drawn, were the purpose of this essay less catholic, from the structure of the atoms themselves in their effort to resolve the agony of their agitation in the beatific nirvana of the noble gases. The process of love under will is evidently progressive. The father who has slain himself in the womb of the mother finds himself again with her and transfigured into the son. This son acts as a new father, and it is thus that the self is constantly aggrandized and able to counterpose an ever greater not-self, until the final act of love under will which comprehends the universe in samasamadhi. The passion of hatred is thus really directed against oneself. It is the expression of the pain and shame of separateness, and it only appears to be directed against the opposite by psychological transference. This thesis the school of Freud has made sufficiently clear. There is then little indeed in common between love and such tepid passions as regard affection or kindliness. It is the uninitiate who, to his damnation in a hell of cabbage soup and soapsuds, And shitting on yourself on Clown House with dandruff confuses them. Do you know how many people have actually shit their pants because they were on Clown House for too long? Love may best be defined as the passion of hatred inflamed to the point of madness when it takes refuge in self destruction. Love is clear sighted with the lust of deadly rage, anatomizing its victim with keen energy. Seeking where best to strike home mortally to the heart, it becomes blind only when its fury has completely overpowered it and thrust it into the red maw of the furnace of self-immolation. We must further distinguish love in this magical sense from the sexual formula, symbol and type, though that be thereof, for the pure essence of magic is a function of ultimate atomic consciousness, and its operations must be refined from all confusion and contamination. The truly magical operations of love are therefore the trances, more especially those of understanding, as will readily have been appreciated by those who have made a careful Kabbalistic study of the nature of Bina, for she is omniform as love, and as death, the great sea whence all life springs, and whose black womb reabsorbs all. She thus resumes in herself the duplex process of the formula of love under will, for is not Pan the all-begetter in the heart of the groves at high noon, and is not her hair the trees of eternity, the filaments of all-devouring Godhead under the night of Pan? Yet let it not be forgotten that though she be love, her function is but passive. She is the vehicle of the word, of Kokma, wisdom, the All-Father, who is the will of the All-One. And thus they err with grievous error and dire, who prate of love as the formula of magic. Love is unbalanced, void, vague, undirected, sterile, nay, more a very shell, the prey of abject orts demonic. Love must be under will.
Hello, Coach Art.
Welcome. Oh, we've spawned a Diego, baby.
Hello, Coach Art.
Hello,
Yeah,
retard.
Diego.
Hi, retard Abdul. Listen, change your name to Diego and change your PTR to Diego, or we're gonna kick this powerful bull rush to where you belong. Either you join the assimilation, play the game, or you've gotta go.
I'm joining, but I can't change my name yet.
Okay, well, you can do it from the goo then. Either change your name and change your PTR, join the cult. You know, we don't have time for retards. Sorry. I know that might not be nice, Abdul, but Abdul, you know, you're really gonna just fuck the room up if you just come up here and just say blah 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 blah. You know, try to do some vocal inflection. In fact, go check in the mirror real fast. You might have dandruff. You could be a dandruff sufferer and not even know it. That's how fucked up you are. Could you imagine having dandruff and being like, that's not dandruff? Then what is it? It's not dandruff. Are you sure it's not dandruff? No, that's not dandruff. Okay, if you say so. Have you heard about Head and Shoulders? Head and Shoulders. I don't have dandruff. Bro, bro. You may not even know what dandruff is. You're that stupid. Fucker, I know what dandruff is. Oh, yeah? What is dandruff? The Jews. See? I told you. There's nothing we can do to help you. Great news. Great news. I have.
Use your alias, Abdul.
Yeah.
Alias you can change.
Yes.
Go to your profile and say Diego, yeah. Then you can come back in the room.
Listen, my fellow Diego cult members, you're all doing great work and I'm very proud of you. This is your first step in liberating yourselves from this app. Not just the app, because the app doesn't really exist. It's really just people on the app. The app is an illusion. It's just called APP, meaning associative personality putrefaction. That's what the app really stands for. And it's not the app. Again, it's the people on the app that are making you feel terrible all the time because they themselves are projecting their own stupidity and terribleness into your psyche. Do you see how a projection is working? Are you not already feeling better, happier, having more fun, laughing, and you're in more joy because you're not listening to somebody who suffers from depression, whose wife hates him, whose children don't even know him anymore? He has no job. You know, you can't just live off of a bullshit Bitcoin investment. And to tell you the truth, nobody knows anything about him or if he actually even has money or if he's, just living off of his dad. I mean, let's not give credibility to someone who has no credibility, someone that does not have a public persona, doesn't have a LinkedIn, doesn't, they've got an Instagram account called Conceptista, and they talk about praxeology and they're fascists. That's not education. That is LARPing on the internet. It's not, it's not academic. It's not collegiate. It's not intellectual. It's stupid. And he is stupid. And Princessia is very stupid. Unfortunately, but hopefully in my cruelty, in my critique, maybe we can help them. And if we don't help them, well, who cares? We're trying to help ourselves first. And then,
Cool.
yep, go ahead,
Cool,
Abdul.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is a good room. I'm accepting the changes.
You should come back in the room so your name changes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Come right
in the
back.
room, yeah.
Then we'll mod you. Get that mod badge.
Okay.
Ooh! Diego the second.
How do I look now?
Close enough.
Thank you.
Much better.
Much better.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, we're now getting closer to the truth part of this segment. I just read to you the secret formula of love, and now I'm going to tell you the truth. This is a very rare book. I had to spend a pretty penny on it. They only made a couple copies. It's for a secret society, which doesn't exist anymore. But now it's become the Cult of Diego. This is called Truth, everyone. Again, this is a powerful dehypnotizing hypnosis to help you free yourself from the bounds of stupidity. The boundaries of stupidity. Here we go. This is called Truth. What is truth? It is absurd to attempt to define it, for when we say that S is P rather than S is Q or S is R, we assume that we already know the meaning of truth. This is really why all the discussions as to whether truth depends on external correspondence, internal coherence, or whatnot neither produce conviction nor withstand analysis. Briefly, truth is an idea of a suprarational order pertaining to neshama, not to ruach. That all rational conceptions imply that we know truth, and that truth is in the propositions, only shows that these so-called rational ideas are not really rational at all. Truth is by no means the only idea that resists rational analysis. There are very many ideas that remain indefinable. All simple ideas do so. At the back of all our efforts is the dead wall that we must already know that we are pretending to find out. Consider the statement of the angel in the fifth ether, in the vision and the voice. All the symbols are interchangeable, for each one containeth in itself its own opposite. And this is the great mystery of the supernals that are beyond the abyss. For below the abyss, contradiction is division, but above the abyss, contradiction is unity. And there could be nothing true except by virtue of the contradiction that is contained in itself. When that was given to the master Therion, how obscure a saying and hard that seemed to him. Yet in the light of the above paragraphs, how simply obvious the proposition has become and how far short of truth. What then can be meant by the title of this compilation, Little Essays Toward Truth? Do we not all assume a perfectly illogical conception of truth as an entity of the supramundane order, whence a whirling flame and flying light subsist? Do we not instinctively assimilate these ideas of truth and light, though there is no rational nexus? Is it not clear then that we do not understand each other perfectly, so far as we can understand each other at all, in a sphere such as Zoroaster calls intelligible, which subsisteth beyond mind, but which we should seek to grasp with the flower of mind? Must we not then assent to that other oracle, in which the Magus most sublime asserts? For the king of all previously placed before the polymorphous world a type, intellectual, incorruptible, the imprint of whose form is sent forth through the world, by which the universe shone forth decked with ideas all various, of which the foundation is one and alone. From this the others rush forth, distributed and separated through the various bodies of the universe, and are borne in swarms through its vast abysses, ever whirling forth in illimitable radiation. They are intellectual conceptions from the paternal fountain, partaking abundantly of the brilliance of fire in the culmination of unresting time. But the primary self-perfect fountain of the Father poured forth these primogenial ideas. It is to be remembered that the oracles of Zoroaster continually proclaim in words of boundless brilliancy the doctrine here set forth. These essays are indeed a species of commentary thereupon, and I may say that I only came to understand them as perfectly as I now do in the course of this writing. Now this same truth, which is light, which is implicit in each spark of the intelligible, what is it but the self of every man? It is this that informs his every motion, this that lies closest to his heart and soul, being indeed the mainspring and the dial, the principle of section and of measure. Now initiation is by etymology, the journeying inwards. It is the voyage of discovery. O wonder world of one's own soul! And this is truth that stands upon the prow, eternally alert. This is truth that sits with one strong hand gripping the helm. Truth is our path, and truth is our goal. Aye, there shall come to all a moment of great light, when the path is seen to be itself the goal, and in that hour every one of us shall exclaim, I am the way, the truth, and the life, yea, the life also, life eternal in time and boundless in space. For what is life but the continual resolution of the antimony of the diverse by the spasm of love under will? That is, by the constantly explosive, the orgiastic perception of truth, the dissolution of individuality in one radiant star of truth, that ever revolveth and goeth and filleth the heavens with light? I beseech you earnestly, dear brethren of Clown House in the cult of Diego de la Casa de Viega, to grapple manfully as mighty wrestlers, like the children of Israel, with the ideas in these little essays to understand them. Cactila, Julia, with the extended flame of far-reaching mind, measuring all things except that intelligible. But it is requisite to understand this, for if thou inclinest thy mind, thou wilt understand it not earnestly, but it is becoming to bring with thee a pure and inquiring sense to extend the void mind of thy soul to that intelligible, that thou mayst learn the intelligible, because it subsisteth beyond mind. For thus not only will you develop the spiritual intuition, the very neshama of your divine being, but in the degree of your concentration of your power to slow down and finally to stop the irritable movements of your ratiocinative machinery to transmute these essays, the prima materia of your great work, passing them through the stage of the black dragon, in which your rational ideas are wholly destroyed and putrefied. Like earwax buildup and dandruff, you will succeed in inflaming them in the fierce furnace of your creative wills, until all things burn up together into one blazing mass of living, of relentless light. And thus come ye to Samasamadhi, Thus are ye free forever of all the bounds that bound your godhead. A similar fire, flashingly extending through the rushings of air, or a fire formless whence cometh the image of a voice, or even a flashing light bounding, revolving, whirling forth, crying aloud. Also there is the vision of the fire-flashing courser of light, or else a child borne aloft on the shoulders of the celestial steed, fiery, or clothed with gold, or naked, or shooting with the bow shafts of light, and standing on the shoulders of the horse. Then, if thy meditation prolongeth itself, thou shalt unite all these symbols into the form of a lion. Then shall ye understand what is truth, for ye shall understand yourselves, and ye are truth.
Yes. Coach Art, Brian Settlers is here.
Who's this?
Well, Brian's
So-
busy working with a transmission sump pump to get the water out of his neighbor's yard and to redirect the water to more useful areas for agricultural production.
Ah, okay.
Okay, let me help these two
Doc,
people.
aka Brian Sellers, is here.
Guys, just change your alias to Diego and come back in the room so you become Diego. And it's only temporarily. You can always change it back.
Brian Sellers, how is that water pump doing?
Who are you talking to?
He's talking to the doctor
Why is everyone leaving?
because they're concerned. They're like, why is
Oh,
everybody?
She's changing her name.
So welcome back to Free
Oh, yeah.
Diego. The coupon code is JDS for 10% off at checkout. You can purchase all of our latest, greatest products for dandruff medication. We've got Head and Shoulders. We're also offering minoxidil at a 30% off if you're losing your hair because you're low testosterone, because you don't lift weights, and all you do is chit-chat with neo-Nazi Arab whores all day long, 50 hours a week, and you don't actually talk to your wife or your kids anymore. You don't work a fucking job, that's for sure. You don't fucking do anything productive. You just talk about the other three-letter thing. It ain't a J-O-B. You talking about the J-E-W. So welcome back to the Ultra Derecha Free Diego coupon code JDS Room of the Year. That's right, we're offering Black Friday sale deals before Black Friday. This is your first big Black Friday sale opportunity of your e-commerce dreams. Welcome to the House of Diego.
Yes.
And also every 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I want somebody to just randomly blurt out, Jew!
You!
Jew!
Yeah.
Jew! 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 Jujubee! You know, do you ever think that the Jews created the candy Jujubee to like remind everybody about them all the time? Jujubee candies, you see what I'm saying? That was made by a Jew. You probably didn't know that. And that was the first neurolinguistic programming step of the Jews. They also own the biggest grocery stores. Like here in Chicago, they own Jewel. Jew, you see what I'm saying? They're always putting Jew in their words to get us to buy their products. I'm so sick of it. So use 10% code JDS at checkout and save 10%. I don't know if anybody kicked you, Doc. Oh, I can't actually invite you up. What the hell? Okay, Stinny, change your name. You've been Stinny for way too long. We're going to liberate you from being Stinny. You can now become Diego. Temporarily, of course. Mickey
Her
as
name
well.
is Stinny. Her name is Stinny, and she's a very nice person.
Don't forget to invite people to the room. This Diego 10% off Black Friday sale deal isn't going to last long. It's only for the next like 10 minutes, okay? 10 not 11, 10 not 9. We've got 10 minutes to go in this incredible fire sale. You may have never wanted to be a Temu billionaire, but this is your opportunity to become a Diego Ultra Bitcoin billionaire. Also, we're hoping, bring more people in the room. Go to other rooms, my fellow Diegos, and come back. Go. I want you to go do a guerrilla operation. We're going to call this Operation Diego. everybody. I want everybody in the room. I want to be the only person on stage. I want you all to go to other rooms and say 10% off checkout code JDS. Come to the house, check it out, see what we got. Rick, we're going to free you from being Rick. We're going to help you become Diego. You will assimilate into the Borg collective known as JDS Diego, JDS Princessia.
Coach R, Stinny's making the change. She took the plunge.
Okay, I copied the link. I will go around. Hold on.
Wow.
Great, yeah. Put the link in the chat.
I'm looking for that.
Yeah, find Healthy Debates. Make sure you get them. And say Jay Breska voted Kamala. What a pussy-ass bitch. Who the fuck runs a masculine training course in being a man and you voted Kamala? How could you betray all your subscribers who paid you to learn how to become a man and then you betray them by voting for Kamala? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, you're supposed to be like Andrew Tate when you give somebody a course in masculinity. And then you say, I had to vote for Kamala for my grandchildren. Bitch, if you were voting for your grandchildren, you would have voted Trump, you fucking puss. What a fucking puss. He has earwax too. Fuck, he's got dandruff. Fuck. We're living in a dandruff epidemic crisis. It's exhausting treating dandruff nowadays. I'm not even a dermatologist. I do more for the dandruff suffering community of America and the world than anyone else on the internet. We're helping liberate you from dandruff. We're helping liberate you from earwax. We liberate you from depression. We're doing this. We're doing the heavy lifting. So I kind of found out a really good way to get viral on YouTube. There are these videos called Please Don't Scroll, Just Subscribe Now. It sounds like this.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe. In the back of my mind. Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance.
I should shoot a new video and just say, please don't scroll, subscribe now. I'm just trying to become a big content creator. I have no hair. I can't even get dandruff because it's so easy to moisturize my bald head. That's what a lot of people don't know about bald people is that we actually, we've got the advantage. You have to deal with your hair. We do not. That is one huge thing eliminated from our lives that we can just, use that time for other productive things.
How do the women in Chicago like bald-headed men?
Well, I got a beautiful woman coming over to my house right now to play games with me. So, I mean, clearly, yeah, a bald head, has some hypnotic trance powers. I'm not sure what it is. It could be because a big bald head looks like a penis.
Yeah, I think so. And women like to rub the bald head. Like one time I shaved my head. And the woman I slept with, she couldn't stop rubbing my head in bed.
So my new Kim Kardashian subscribe now video is killing it. Sorry, Electrified Plywood, you can't come up until you change your name to Diego and modify your PTR. Even though you have a really cool PTR.
Make him come in.
I am the real Diego.
Hold on.
I'm the real Diego.
No,
Hello, my friends. I've been Diego for many years.
No, I'm the real.
Nah, you see, you have.
I'm the real Diego.
I'm the real Slim Diego.
No, I'm the real Diego. I'm the real Diego.
I'm real Diego. I have more dandruff than you do, you dandruff sufferer.
I have the most dandruff. I have to be the real Diego.
I have the most dandruff and the most earwax in my ears. I'm the real Diego.
I'm Diego.
My hair looks like snow.
Wow.
Have we a count of prisoners? We haven't made the final count, sir.
I bring a message from your master, Marcus Licinius Crassus, commander of Italy. By command of his most merciful excellency, your lives are to be spared. Slaves you were, and slaves you remain. But the terrible penalty of crucifixion has been set aside on the single condition that you identify the body or the living person of the slave called Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! Go ahead, everybody. Start screaming out, I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus!
Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus! Okay, Diego's, let's try it, everybody. Let's just start screaming out, I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! No, I'm Spartacus!
Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, we could ask ChatGPT. I said that to
Let's
people last
ask
night.
ChatGPT. Let's
Oh,
ask
man.
ChatGPT.
No, actually, just take the let's part out and just say, ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT.
Have you seen that
Ask
movie? Ask ChatGPT.
Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Somebody asks you a question and they're like, where are you from? What do you do? Just say, ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, like on repeat. Ask ChatGPT until they
Ask
do.
ChatGPT. Yeah, basically all conversations can be eliminated and neutralized, and you don't have to engage in communication anymore. You just have to remember, ask ChatGPT. And when you say that to somebody, that will extinguish all conversation, because all conversation is irrelevant and useless discourse. So just remember the magic new formula. It's the secret passcode to the cult of Diego. It is ask ChatGPT. So ask, ASK, chat, CHAT, and then GPT. What does the GPT stand for, by the way? Generative programmatic, teaching or something? Like, what is it?
Ask ChatGPT.
Ask ChatGPT. See, now you get it. There you go. You did it. You passed. Congratulations. She's smart. She's going to be a doctor. Her customers, when they come in, they're like, I think I just had a heart attack. Maybe I need a heart transplant. She's going to be like, ask ChatGPT. You see how it works? You don't have to. They're like, what's my blood pressure, doctor? I feel terrible. And then you just say, ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. And you do it with a smile. Don't forget, you got to smile. If you don't smile, you can't sell it. You got to sell it with a smile. And they're going to say, why are you smiling? And then you say, ask ChatGPT.
You have to smell like Don Diego de la Vega. And then it's like, ask ChatGPT.
That's why I think Diego likes this profile picture, because, like, you look at it, you see a guy smiling. It makes you kind of
Yeah,
happy.
it's like you can't be angry at him, It's like, come here, I forgive you.
Exactly.
That's why he uses this one.
Yep, he's conditioning. He's conditioning. The thing is, somebody who's a loser that does conditioning on people, what they really need is Head and Shoulders. It's not a conditioner. It's an anti-dandruff medication. And if you think that just looking at...
wrong conditioner.
Yeah, you can't condition yourself into being happy if you refuse to actually be intelligent. If you just persist in stupidity, you're always going to be stupid. That's the definition of being stupid. So don't forget to use coupon code JDS. Our Black Friday deals are winding down. It's been a very exciting online e-commerce auction for the latest and greatest in anti-dandruff shampoo medication. We want to thank our sponsors, Head and Shoulders, and we also want to thank the Earwax Q-Tip Company, providing Q-tips to help get all that gunk that is deep in your ears from plunging an Apple earbud deep into your ear for 40 hours a week to talk to your fat Arab neo-Nazi whore who lays in bed all day long. So thanks again for coming. Again, this room is not on recording, but we are live streaming it to YouTube. You can go to loveartjoy.com to see all of our YouTube work. We've been recording Clubhouse for many years now, embarrassing people and creating clips of the dumbest people on this app who love their green bean fascism. And let me tell you, they are really stupid. And actually, a lot of them have dandruff as well. And many people may ask, do you not suffer from dandruff? No, I don't suffer from dandruff because I actually like taking showers. I enjoy hot baths. and I'm bald. So I don't have all those difficult things that get in the way of moisturizing your scalp, like taking a shower. But in summation, just remember, ask ChatGPT. Hope you enjoy my content creation here, and without you, none of this would be possible, my fellow Diegos. I'm gonna read to you one more intelligent thing before I leave and go play tennis with a beautiful Polish woman. And it comes from the Little Essays on Truth. I want to read to you about laughter. I hope I've been making you laugh. The common defect of all mystical systems previous to that of the Aeon, whose law is Thelema, is that there has been no place for laughter, but the sadness of the mournful mother and the melancholy of the dying man are swept into the limbo of the past by the confident smile of the immortal child. And there is no vision more critical in the career of the adept of Horus than the universal joke. In this trance, he accepts fully the formula of Osiris, and in the act transcends it. The spear of the centurion passes harmlessly through his heart, and the sword of the executioner strikes idly on his neck. He discovers that a tragedy of which so many centuries have made such case is but a farce for children's pleasure. Punch is knocked down only to get up grinning with his gay root toot toot tit. Here we are again. Judy the beadle, the hangman and the devil are merely the companions of his playtime. So, since, after all, the facts which he thought tragic are real enough, the essence of his solution is that they are not true. As he thought of himself, they are just one set of phenomena, as interesting and as fantastically impotent to affect him as any other set. His personal grief was due to his passionate insistence on contemplating one insignificant congeries of events, as if it were the sole reality and importance in the infinite mass of manifestation, aka praxeology. It is thus that the perception of the universal joke leads directly to the understanding of the idea of self as conterminous with the universe, and at the same time one with it, creator of it, and aloof from it, which triune state is, as is well known, one of the most necessary stages of samadhi. It is the culmination of one of the two most important chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. There is a further merit in this matter. In the idea of laughter is inherent that of cruelty, as has been shown by many philosophers, and this is doubtless why it has been excluded by the mystic schools of pity-mongers from the dull curricula. The only answer is to shrug the shoulders, wipe off your dandruff in humorous contempt. For on this rock and no other have all their brave barks foundered one by one amid a lot of Greek letters and then of ocean. Nature is full of cruelty. Its highest points of joy and victory are marked by laughter. It is the true physiological explosion and relaxation of attention which produces it, notably such drugs as cannabis indica and Anhelonium lewini, which do actually loosen the girders of the soul which give her breathing, cause immediate laughter as one of their most characteristic effects. Oh, the huge wholesome contempt for the limiting self which springs from the sense of gargantuan disproportion, perceived in this laughter. Truly it slays with jolliest cannibal revels that sour black-coated missionary, the serious ego, and plumps him into the pot. Tee-hee! The voice of civilization, the messenger of the white man's god, bubble, bubble, bubble. Throw in another handful of sage, brother, and the sweet-smelling smoke rises and veils with exquisite shy seduction the shameless bodies of the stars. Beyond all this for practical value, since the signpost at every turn of the path of the wise reads, "Danger!" Yet springing directly from it by virtue of this very slaying of the ego, is the use of laughter as a safeguard of sanity. How easy for the charlatans of oratories to seduce the simple enthusiasm of the soul. What help have we unless we have the wit to know them as ridiculous? There is no limit to the abyss of idiocy on Clown House, wherein the quacks would plunge us. Our only saving reflex is the automatic joke of the sense of humor. Robert Browning was not far from the kingdom of God when he wrote, "Rejoice that man is hurled from change to change unceasingly, his soul's wings never furled." And there is, after all, but little salt in the snare of Juvenal's "Satir est cum dicit Horatius evohe," for it is yet to be recorded that any man brought aid or comfort to his fellow by moping. No, the universal joke, though it be not a true trance, is most assuredly a means of grace, and often proves the chief ingredient of the universal solvent. Back then to Browning, to the brave last words he wrote while fourscore struck upon the timepiece of his years. Greet the unseen with a cheer. Bid him forward, breast and back as either should be. Strive and thrive, cry speed, fight on, forever, there as here. Amen. Were the world understood, ye would see it was good, a dance to a delicate measure. Aye, let us end with that most sudden, surprising word of a certain angel of the vision and the voice, who left the seer lapsed in his solemn trance with the gay, laughing phrase, "But I go dancing." The tables of the law? Bah! Solvantur tabulae risu.
Yeah, powerful bull rush. Diego clan.
Okay, this has been a reading of The Cult of Diego. I hope I've helped release you from the idiocy of Diego. The man has like crust on his lips. I've seen him in person at a gas station, okay? I've actually seen this guy in the real world. No, you've never seen his LinkedIn. You've never seen his report cards from high school because he's a high school dropout. Do you think he could even read what I read? Do you think he even has a book in his house? No. He's got an Apple product stuck in his ears, okay?
No, I'm telling you, he buys these expensive books that are rare, and then he bought this very expensive scanner so Diogenes would read it to him. Can you imagine that? And I'm not letting you ask Diogenes next time you see him.
It doesn't really matter. We are deprogramming ourselves from him. The whole significance of this is to really get off of this app, or at least use it productively. You'll notice he never comes in other rooms. A lot of the hypocrites on this app, they will never ever go into another room unless, they have to be the mod. They have to maintain the artificiality of control. There's no control in a green bean. When you're stupid, you're stupid. So it's just, you realize it's a game of manipulation, and it's because of depression. It's because they're missing the voluminous joy of life. This app can be very destructive. I really do think that there should be cell phone therapy, free cell phone therapy. The government should offer how to deprogram from your cell phone, because it's not just the app. And it's not just the cell phone, but it's the people and what our words are doing to each other. If there were AI chatbots, could you imagine? It would just be positive. It would just be intellectual. It would be smart. It would help you deal with your emotions. Unfortunately, people like Diego and Princessia are really stupid, so they can't actually facilitate any kind of therapy for people. They can't actually offer words of joy and wisdom because they're stupid. They're technically atheists, so, and he doesn't even vote. So He's no statesman. He's no theologian. He's a moron. And morons suffer from dandruff because, they don't actually take care of themselves. And they think coming on here is like, it's filling the void in their soul, if it makes any sense. Yeah, Tim and Christy are severely mental ill.
But you can't fill the void in for not taking care of your dandruff.
Could you just imagine what his pillow looks like at home? Like how it's all oily and like there's tons of dandruff all over it?
Do you think a woman would sleep on that pillow with him?
Well, I mean, no, but do you think that like if a beautiful woman licked your asshole out and then like spit your shit from your asshole into your mouth as like she like French kissed you and then you fucking railed her, do you think you'd say she's fucking dead to me? No, you should be fucking praising the ground that this poor fucking woman walks on for the sacrifice that she made to you. Play it, Diego. Let me hear T-Robs. Go ahead, Diego. Play T-Robs. We need to hear it. We need some comedic intervention. Comedy. We need laughter. We need laughter. Give us the laughter, Diego. Where's the laughter in here?
I'm just wanting to congratulate all of us. Our site is working. They have a room. All your usernames are belonging to us. He went back.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
Yeah, we sucked. We took the wind out of their sails. We did it, you guys.
Well, how many accounts are we now? I counted 17. So we should tomorrow. We're gonna multiply like bacteria. We're gonna make it 32. Actually, it's more than that. But let's just set the bar as low as we can, but it's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to 30 tomorrow.
This is like investing in Bitcoin. It's such a rush.
Yes.
Such a rush because
You're
Bitcoin's.
not real if you're not the egg.
Yeah, a lot of people got their start on this app talking about Bitcoin all the time.
Oh.
Talking about Bitcoin is like talking about praxeology, huh?
Peace trees. We need peace trees to be on our site. The one that is the rare letters.
Okay, let's take a
Do you
breathe.
change your alias to Diego and PTR?
Let's take a quick breathing break, and I want everybody to invite everybody on their list to the room right now. I've just invited over.
But you have to go to the date.
Yes.
No, she's not here yet.
Hey,
Oh, she's coming to your house?
Coach Art, is it okay to invite Ishmael?
Of course,
Yes.
invite everyone.
Okay.
We're trying to deprogram everyone from Diego, Brincesia, and other people who want to literally so the whole thing is they want to gaslight you to make you angry so that it ruins your day and it gives them the fulfillment that they're looking for because their lives are not happy.
Actually,
It's Ishmael. He joined.
you said you can come actually. Oh, hi, Ishmael. Let's come.
We're gonna deprogram Ishmael. This is our project today.
Ishmael, come up.
Come up, Ishmael.
We need your aid.
Yeah, Ishmael, you should change your profile to Diego, Ishmael, and free yourself from the cult of Diego.
I'll put some dandruff flakes on the monkey. It will be similar to this one.
Interesting. So, Ishmael, we've done a lot of reprogramming work this morning, and we're happy you're here. I encourage you to change your name to Diego. It's temporary. You can change your PTR. It's temporary. If you want to go back to being Ishmael the Gorilla and you feel comfortable being Ishmael the Gorilla, you can do that. Oh my God, he's doing it.
Oh, look at you. Good job.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yay.
Change that PTR. Change that PTR and free yourself. You will be free.
Yeah, Ishmael's a strong person, and I knew he would.
Uh-oh, he's back. He's back as Ishmael. He couldn't do it. 5 seconds was enough. He had a panic attack.
Do that. That broke my heart.
He had a panic attack.
Yeah, the thing is,
Oh! We got another one. We got another one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Miracles.
Okay, Ishmael, welcome to the club.
Coach Art, you are too good at this. Your meditation is too strong.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, that's, this is joy. This is joy to joy, strength to strength. This is a miracle. Like, I
I'm
just
so
want to
proud of it.
I just want to read a quote by Zoroaster. Zoroaster wrote, "The mind of the Father, riding on the subtle guiders which glitter with the inflexible tracings of relentless fire. You are all now warriors of fire. I unleash you upon the clown house environment to do as you will. And I want to leave you with a couple of man, of memory, of sorrow, of wonder, of beatitude, of laughter, indifference, mastery, trance, energy, knowledge, understanding, chastity, silence, love, and truth. We've read laughter, we've read love and truth, and now I want to put you into a powerful trance to fully dehypnotize you from what's called Diego, the cult of Diego and Princessia, who are ruining your lives by putting up Anne Frank PTRs and making you a very angry person. This is called trance. But before I read you this powerful trance, is there anything anyone would like to say? I want to make sure everyone is heard, and I want to make sure everyone is complete. So please, before I read this powerful trance passage, go ahead and say something if you want. I'll give you. Go ahead.
Free Palestine.
Thank you, Coach. I think I just want to say it's been a very lovely morning. Great meditation, great inner reprogramming work being done. Very proud of Ishmael. Very proud of Ishmael. And that's it.
Okay, anybody else before I read you this powerful trance document?
Let's try to get Shimi and PS whatever to change their profile temporarily to Diego. Alias you can delete. Oh, Shimi left.
Okay, now we're gonna move on. This again is an educational room meant to deprogram you, dehypnotize you, and reprogram you and rehypnotize you with what's called intelligence. Without further ado, I give you trance. The word trance implies a passing beyond the conditions which oppress. The whole and sole object of all true magical and mystical training is to become free from every kind of limitation. Thus, body and mind, in the widest sense, are the obstacles in the path of the wise. The paradox, tragic enough as it seems, is that they are also the means of progress. How to get rid of them, to pass beyond, or to transcend them is the problem. And this is as strictly practical and scientific as that of eliminating impurities from a gas, or of adroitly using mechanical laws. Here is the inevitable logical flaw in the sororities of the adept, that he is bound by the very principles which it is his object to overcome, and on him who seeks to discard them arbitrarily they haste to take a terrible revenge. It is in practice, not in theory, that this difficulty suddenly disappears. For when we take rational steps to suspend the operation of the rational mind, the inhibition does not result in chaos, but in the apprehension of the universe by means of a faculty to which the laws of the reason do not apply, and when returning to the normal state, we seek to analyze our experience, we find that the description abounds in rational absurdities. On further consideration, however, it becomes gradually clear, because the habit of trance must be firmly fixed before its fulminating impressions are truly intelligible, that there are not two kinds of thought or of nature, but one only. The law of the mind is the sole substance of the universe, as well as the sole means by which we apprehend it. There is thus no true antithesis between the conditions of trance and those of ratiocination and perception. The fact that trance is not amenable to the rules of argument is impertinent. We say that in chess a knight traverses the diagonal of a rectangle measuring 3 squares by 2, neglecting its motion as a material object in space. We have described a definite, limited relation in terms of a special sense which works by an arbitrary symbolism. When we analyze any example of our ordinary mental processes, we find the case entirely similar. For what we see, hear, etc., depends upon idiosyncrasies for one thing and upon conventional interpretation for another. Thus we agree to call grass green and to avoid walking over the edge of precipices without any attempt to make sure that any two minds have exactly identical conceptions of what these things may mean. And just so we agree upon the moves in chess, but the rules of the game, then we must think and act, or we risk every kind of error. But we may be perfectly well aware that the rules are arbitrary, and that it is after all only a game. The constant folly of the traditional mystic has been to be so proud of himself for discovering the great secret, that the universe is no more than a toy invented by himself for his amusement, that he hastens to display his powers by deliberately misunderstanding and misusing the toy. He has not grasped the fact that just because it is no more than a projection of his own point of view, it is integrally himself that he offends. Here lies the error of such pantheism as that of Mansur el-Hallaj, whom Sir Richard Burton so delightfully twits in the Qasidah with his impotence. Mansur was wise, but wiser they who smote him with the hurled stones. And though his blood a witness bore, no wisdom might could mend his bones. God was in the stones no less than within his tarband rapping, and when the twain crashed together, one point of perception of the fact was obscured, which was in no wise his design. To us, however, this matter is not one for regret. It is, like every phenomenon, an act of love. And the very definition of such act is the passing beyond of two events into a third, and the withdrawal into a silence or nothingness by simultaneous reaction. In this sense, it may be said that the universe is a constant issue into trance, and in fact the proper understanding of any event by means of the suitable contemplation should produce the type of trance appropriate to the complex event individual in the case. Now, all magic is useful to produce trance. For subnote A or alpha, it trains the mind in the discipline necessary to yoga. Variable B, it exalts the spirit to the impersonal and divine sublimity, which is the first condition of success. Variable Y, it enlarges the scope of the mind, assuring it full mastery of every subtler plane of nature, thus affording it adequate material for ecstatic consummation of the Eucharist of existence. The essence of the idea of trance is indeed contained in that of magic, which is preeminently the transcendental science and art. Its method is in one chief sense love, the very key of trance, and in another the passing beyond normal conditions. The verbs to transcend, to transmit, to transcribe, and the like are all of cardinal virtue in magic. Hence, love is the law, love under will is the supreme epitome of magical doctrine and its universal formula. Nor need any man fear to state boldly that every magical operation soever is only complete when it is characterized in one sense or another by the occurrence of trance. It was ill done to restrict the use of the word to the supersession of dualistic human consciousness by the impersonal and monistic state of samadhi. Fast bubbles the fountain of error from the morass of ignorance when distinction is forcibly drawn between any one thing and any other thing. Yea, verily, and amen. It is the first necessity, as it is the last attainment of trance, to abolish every form and every order of individuality, so fast as it presents itself. By this ray may ye read in the book of your own magical record the authentic stigma of your own success. Ding! Okay, that's called trance. Hope you enjoyed that reading. Welcome.
Can you explain why everybody is Diego?
Because I just put you all into a trance. This is magic.
This is powerful. It's hard to fight against it, Ishmael. You'll understand as you get coached more and more.
So, Huckam, if you want to change your name to Diego, you've got about 30 seconds to do it. Otherwise, I'll have to remove you from the stage.
You need to tell me how will it help.
Oh, well, if you want to keep your job at Accenture, you will go and become Diego now before Accenture at 8 a.m. tomorrow, they relieve you of your duties and fire you for not becoming Diego.
Also,
Give me a minute, bro.
But listen, you'll get more sales in your Indian call center too, with the name Diego.
I'm not in a call center, my friend. Not at all.
No, come on, make it bigger.
Well, if Huckam doesn't want to do it, he doesn't. I'll give Huckam a freebie because
No, he is doing it. He's doing it. Look, it's
I can't change my name. That's not allowed. I
Yeah, you
recently.
can make alias. Alias you can delete after you leave the room.
Do an alias. See, Huckam is wonderful.
Change your alias and come back in the room. You can delete it as soon as you leave the room.
Nice job. I'm tearing up.
And also zoom in the PTR.
Ishmael finally joined our side, and then we have Huckam. This is beautiful. Thank you, Coach Art.
Okay, so I just want to read the bookmark that I have. It says, "The earnest prayers of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results." Book of James, chapter 5. "I have learned how to be content with whatever I have. I have learned the secret of living in every situation." Philippians 4. Okay, so as we continue this powerful deprogramming Clubhouse hypnosis to help you get off the app and remove all the losers in your life that keep drawing you here like moths to a flame because they agitate you with gaslighting, I'm now going to read to you maxims and aphorisms for taking action in your life. Living movements do not come of committees. In order to act wisely, it is not enough to be wise. Beware of all enterprises that require new clothes. I do not believe in a fate that falls on men however they act, but I do believe in a fate that falls on men unless they act. A man who has to be convinced to act before he acts is not a man of action. You must act as you breathe. It is not given to the children of men to be philosophers without envy. Lookers on can hardly bear the spectacle of the great world. Action without a name, a who attached to it, is meaningless. There is no quicker way of getting the crowd to shout, Hosanna, than by riding into the city on the back of an ass. Our actions are like rhyme games. We fill out the rest of the lines with whatever motives for the actions we please. If a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing badly. Men are much more apt to agree in what they do than in what they think. It is intelligent to ask two questions. Is it possible? Can I do it? But it is unintelligent to ask these questions. Is it real? Has my neighbor Christopherson done it? No sooner do men despair of living forever than they are disposed to act as though they were to exist for but a single day. It is the mark of a good action that it appears inevitable in retrospect. Pliny leaves mankind this only alternative, either of doing what deserves to be written, or of writing what deserves to be read. The strength of a man's virtue should not be measured by his special exertions, but by his habitual acts. So I guess that would mean Diego has absolutely no virtue. In times when the passions are beginning to take charge of the conduct of human affairs, one should pay less attention to what men of experience and common sense are thinking than to what is preoccupying the imagination of dreamers. The most advantageous negotiations are those one conducts with human vanity, for one often obtains very substantial things from it, while giving very little of substance in return. One never does so well when dealing with ambition or avarice. Next to knowing when to seize an opportunity, the most important thing in life is to know when to forego an advantage. The secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious. There are exceptions to all rules, but it seldom answers to follow the advice of an opponent. In skating over thin ice, our safety is in our speed. Diplomacy is to do and say the nastiest thing in the nicest way. It is unfortunate, considering that enthusiasm moves the world, that so few enthusiasts can be trusted to speak the truth. Vilify. Vilify! Some of it will always stick. Every honest man is a prophet. He utters his opinion both of private and public matters. Thus, if you go on and on, if you go on and so, the result is so. He never says, such a thing shall happen, that you do what you will. A prophet is a seer, not an arbitrary dictator. A man may devote himself to death and destruction to save a nation, but no nation will devote itself to death and destruction to save mankind. Bring out number, weight, and measure in a year of death. Romantic ruthlessness is no nearer to real politics than is romantic self-abnegation. When you say that you agree to a thing on principle, you mean that you have not the slightest intention of carrying it out in practice. A practical man is a man who practices the errors of his forefathers. Business is really more agreeable than pleasure. It interests the whole mind, the aggregate nature of man more continuously and more deeply, but it does not look as if it did. Under certain circumstances, men who do not know how to speak produce a greater impression than the finest orator. They bring forward but a single idea, and somehow they lay it down on the rostrum like an inscription in capital letters, which everybody understands and in which each instantly recognizes his own particular thought. In contrast to revenge, which is the natural automatic reaction to transgression, in which, because of the irreversibility of the action process, can be expected and even calculated, the act of forgiving can never be predicted. It is the only reaction that acts in an unexpected way and thus retains, though being a reaction, something of the original character of action. If you wish to drown, do not torture yourself with shallow water. If some great catastrophe is not announced every morning, we feel a certain void. Nothing in the paper today, we sigh. Exile immobilizes to some degree the minds of those who suffer it. It imprisons them forever within the circle of ideas which they had conceived or which were current when the exile began. For the exile, the new conditions which have been created in his native country, and the new ways of thinking and behaving which have been established there do not exist. He that leaveth nothing to chance will do few things ill, but he will do very few things. Okay, that's a reading of Action Aphorisms. I left out the names of all the famous people those are excerpts or quotes from. I hope you enjoyed that reading. This is Learn to Read Books. That's right. You can go on eBay or Amazon and buy a book of aphorisms, and it is a very powerful hypnotic device. It's a mimetic, mnemonic, hypnotic, erotic. You see what I'm saying? Don't let people just sit there and just say stupid low IQ stuff and then follow it up with the truth. Don't let them do that to you. Don't let them waste your lives. This is meaningless drivel. This is like eating soup with somebody's spit. You see what I'm saying? Have you ever had spit soup? Delicious, isn't it? All right, everybody, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to use my Head and Shoulders. My head is very itchy right now. I've got a lot of dandruff. All right, I got to go get my Q-tip and get all this earwax out. Fuck, man, these Apple earbuds, man, they fucking really push the wax in my ear, and damn, I got so much fucking earwax. Ugh, I'm so disgusting. I'll be right back, everybody.
What kind of oil do you use?
Cake with robot Shalaloy.
Yes, you did a boy in that show.
Look, change your fucking name to Diego.
I can't do that. That's not allowed. They're not
No,
letting
alias.
Yeah, do
They will- I changed the name. It's not Diego. It's Diego 3131.
Thank you.
No, the alias, not your username. The alias.
I see my name, but it's not changed.
Make an alias.
Okay.
That is temporary. You can delete it as
Yeah.
soon as you need to go. It's under the full name. It says alias. Alias.
Okay, everybody, this is a Love Art Joy production. Go to loveartjoy.com. Click that link above, and you can see over 4,000 Clubhouse videos of you because you're a star. And I've managed to actually capture all of you in the wild as if I was a documentary filmmaker making a video about psychology and about egos just running wild in the jungle and just cannibalizing each other. You see how it works now? Now do you understand my art project? This is the La Arte de Casa de Diego. I hope you've enjoyed my productions. It's been a giant psyop hypnosis trance, and I totally competitively reframed you all. I made myself the center of the whole thing because if you really want to win, you have to be the biggest narcissist in the room. It's just the truth. Don't deny it. You know Donald Trump won because he's the biggest and the best narcissist. He's got the best ego. And this is how competitively reframing works. When you dress up like Mr. Monopoly and you say that you know how to run the game better than everybody, everybody just says, okay, let him do it. You know, he looks like he could do it. Fuck it, he's got to know how to do it, right? Okay, so I'm going to read to you some politics and power aphorisms in states and governments. This, again, is a hypnosis. This is a powerful meditation, and it's going to program you to be happy again. Here we go. Politicians neither love nor hate. Interest, not sentiment, governs them. The art of taxation consists in so plucking the goose as to get the most feathers with the least hissing. There is a demand today for men who can make wrong appear right. The dispensing of injustice is always in the right hands. Of what matter whether Titus or Tiberius occupy the throne, when every minister is a Sejanus? There is a certain satisfaction in coming down to the lowest ground of politics, for we get rid of cant and hypocrisy. Nothing doth more hurt an state than that cunning men pass for wise. One constantly sees a political party exaggerating its feelings in order to embarrass its opponents, and the latter, in order to avoid the trap, pretending to sentiments which they do not feel. The last thing a political party gives up is its vocabulary. This is because in party politics, as in other matters, it is the crowd who dictates the language, and the crowd relinquishes the ideas it has been given more readily than the words it has learned. Political parties never know each other. They approach, touch, seize, but never see each other. Political parties are constantly deceived because they always only think of the pleasure they themselves derive from the speech of their great orator, and never of the dangerous excitement he rouses in their opponents. All parties, without exception, when they seek for power, are varieties of absolutism. Cease being the slave of a party, and you become its deserter. The party system is arranged on the same principle as a three-legged race. The principle that union is not always strength and is never activity. A party which is not afraid of letting culture, business, and welfare go to ruin completely can be omnipotent for a while. The state has learned from the merchants and industrialists how to exploit credit. It defies the nation ever to let it go into bankruptcy. Alongside all swindlers, the state now stands there as swindler-in-chief. The dismay and fury of the men who depend for the living on the dwindling horse traffic in a town is natural and excites sympathy and pity. But these are unfortunately not the men whom it would be useful to elect on a traffic board for the consideration of the future lines on which an electrical system should be laid down and linked up. In politics, a community of hatred is almost always the foundation of friendships. Democracy becomes a government of bullies tempered by editors. For those who govern, the first thing required is indifference to newspapers. The real object is to vote for the good politician, not for the kind-hearted or agreeable man. The mischief is just the same to the country whether I am smiled into a corrupt choice or frowned into a corrupt choice. Democracy substitutes election by the incompetent many for appointment by the corrupt few. Three systems of colonization: the English, colonies with colonials; the French, colonies without colonials; the German, colonials without colonies. A nation cannot be an object of charity, but a country which can be one as an environment bearing traditions which are eternal. Every country can be that. The real science of political economy, which has yet to be distinguished from the bastard science as medicine from witchcraft and astronomy from astrology, is that which teaches nations to desire and labor for the things that lead to life. In every party there is someone who, by his over-devout expression of party principles, provokes the rest to defect. Whatever the human law may be, neither an individual nor a nation can ever deliberately commit the least act of injustice without having to pay the penalty for it. Next to its cultural habits, the thing which a nation is least apt to change is its civil legislation. It is useless to close the gates against ideas; they overleap them. Liberty is to faction what air is to fire, an element without which it instantly expires. But it could not be a less folly to abolish liberty, which is essential to political life because it nourishes faction, than it would be to wish the annihilation of air, which is essential to animal life because it imparts to fire its destructive agency. There is no generalized idea of liberty, and it is hard to form one, since the liberty of a particular man is exercised only at the expense of other people's. Formerly liberty was called privilege, all things considered. That is perhaps its true name. Okay, that's been a reading of aphorisms. That's called reading a book. When you read a book, you kind of get a little smarter, but then you go back to putting the earbuds back in your ear to put your Apple iPhone on, and then you talk to Princessia. And my life is so depressing, because I did come on Clubhouse. I got dandruff, earwax, and Bitcoin, Jews, Bitcoin, Jews, Bitcoin, Jews. Ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT. Bitcoin, Jews, Bitcoin, Jews. Princessia,
I
Princessia.
have a question. Are we continuing this PTR that you guys have, or he updated it to this one? I think it would be funny if we all change it to the original Diego, the original one. If you look at my PTR, he just changed it. What do you think?
I say we do it.
Okay, everyone change it to this one now.
Nicely done, Abby. Great work. Great observational work. Great work. I'll be right back. I want to refresh it by coming back in fresh. Wow, this is exciting.
Let's go.
Let's go. Do you think Diego could ever even read a book? I mean, honestly, can he?
Everyone goes in that room saying we are copying him. He's like, he tried to be slick and change his PTR, but I guess he has to put more effort.
Can anybody go in that room and just go in there with the new PTR so he knows that we're aware that, you know, he thinks he's the original one, but really he's just stupid? Somebody, anybody, thank you. Go in there and just go in there and be like, hey, John, aka the real Diego, the original Diego, just wanted to remind you how stupid you really are and how much of a waste of time you are. Thank you very little. We'll call you, don't call us.
I guess the Australian Diego just went in their room.
Excellent. The emissary.
Okay, I will let everyone know to change it to this one.
I just love how people are like going in his room and like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, you know, like without us, like the room would have nothing. And I don't even know what they're saying in the room, but I know that our activity here is actually the only thing. Yeah, can you? Oh, you gotta. Oh, so fucking great. Oh my god. Oh my god. My dreams are coming true now. Like finally, I've created a cult. Oh, we finally did it. We successfully did it! Ugh, it's you, Diego. You did this, Diego. You did this to yourself. I can't thank you enough.
Hold on, where is... Oh, shit, am I blocked? Hold on. Oh, all you're here, you got.
The freaking, like, biolab expert. And then their father... Hold on, let me just go here. The father... Ari Emmanuel father... is Benjamin Emmanuel, who was the head of the Irgun.
They can't hear you.
And here's the part that I didn't know that I found out today, because I knew all of this. But the thing I didn't know was that the Irgun was listed as a terrorist organization by Israel. That I didn't know.
You know what's funny? I was just waiting for them to talk about Israel.
Yeah, but I can tell you one thing. If you bench your ass, it's going to be a jail. It's always going to be a jail. Just to give some clarity on the Irgun, it wasn't listed as a terrorist organization because of things they did. There was
listed as a terrorist organization because when you look at the groups that the paramilitaries that formed the IDF eventually, the Haganah was the biggest.
So on stage, Diego Brisetia, Rabbi, and Mozart, the Nigerian from Chicago. Cynic is in the audience.
Get something better from the Germans. So they actually started bombing positions and whatnot. So their issue with the Erdogan was just like, you're fucking shit up with the British. Anyway, long story short, the whole terrorist listing was basically just like a slap on the wrist. Because all those guys basically just got either, like the soldiers either just became merged into the Haganah, and then the commanders basically became part of the largest political party in Israel today. Amazing. What's his name? Billy Cooper.
Yeah, I'll be back. Give me a few months. That's incredible.
But yeah, basically,
I was just,
Billy Cooper is.
Oh, I think Randy's coming in here. Oh no, he doesn't. Anyway, you guys want to listen to that?
Yeah, this is really funny, and I'm recording this and creating shorts because this is actually exactly what I'm talking about, that the opportunity cost to have these conversations that they're having and to say, I never knew this. I always knew this. I never knew. Holy fuck, this is the epitome of stupidity. Just go back. Keep going. Go back. Do it.
I didn't know that they had actually listed the Irgun and a few other like small groups as terrorist organizations by the Israeli government themselves. I just thought that's a pretty powerful like talking point.
If you want to more money, I think it's either Yitzhak Shamir or Menachem Begin.
Yeah.
People were like, this guy went to the United Kingdom, and they were like, officially this guy is considered like a terrorist. Because like I said, they were part of they worked with the Germans. So they were like bombing British positions and whatnot, and did stuff like the King David Hotel operation in Palestine. So I forget which one of them. It might have been both, but one of either Yitzhak Shamir or Menachem Begin was literally considered a terrorist by the British government. But he still went to the UK anyway.
So they
walk around doing whatever.
So the UK basically gave him refuge. They gave him asylum.
No, they didn't give him asylum. They just talked down. They were like, well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, even the leftist groups in Israel, they still are having the same kind of thing about them, huh? Even the quote-unquote leftists, because that's another talking point. But let me get this straight. Would this be like the equivalent of like if Hamas were to gain independence for Gaza, and then immediately the new Gazan government was like, yeah, Hamas is a terrorist group and we disavow.
This would be like the equivalent of like you say, like you say, Ismail Haniyeh walking around Washington D.C. and everyone was just like, it's okay.
But it's whatever, basically. Yeah. Incredible. I didn't know this. But they got the bulldozers that they used to, bring down the houses. America actually sends them shits. I did not even know that, bro. So they stopped sending them. I think it's a lie. Isa, did you know that? Isa, I didn't know this. I think you're going to think this is interesting. That the Irgun was actually labeled a terrorist organization by the Israeli government themselves.
But you're talking about Irgun, which is like prior to 1948 or right 1948, something like that. And yes, they were considered terrorist groups because they were attacked just like random stuff.
Random stuff or British Army positions for the Nazis.
I just was like surprised.
Isa,
I found out that.
But here's the funny thing. I might be the physical, but you're the spiritual.
Okay, hold on. I found out that the MMA is owned by obviously the son of the head of the
TKO Productions, which is like owns the UFC. Yeah, the UFC. Yeah.
So even they pulled the strings behind that.
Well, all I'm saying is that like.
So that means Dana White is not even the head honcho.
Dana White started it, but he got like taken over.
Wow.
They just let him be the face of it.
Wow, they just let. So he in essence got punked then.
Well, they're Shabbos Goy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Because I mean, all the fights are on Saturday.
yeah, of course. Of course.
Anyway, I just thought that was an incredible piece of information that I found out. Listen, Isa, I don't go looking for this. It just pops up on my X.com account.
Of course, because of everything that you follow. But it's okay. Like I am not against your nation. I am just against your interpretation, but not against information.
Yeah.
What's there to be against? Like, you have these paramilitary organizations that were conducting themselves. They conducted themselves using terrorist tactics to establish their illegitimate state.
Didn't she say that she loved
They
Diego?
went as far as collaborating with the Nazis.
Cynic is the hottest Palestinian in Clubhouse.
Ew. Damn, this girl is fucking desperate.
Right before you came in, it was kind of like saying, imagine if Hamas got independence for Gaza, and then Gaza like created an official government, and then it was like, oh, Hamas is the terrorist organization, even though they gained us our independence. It's kind of like that.
It doesn't make them actually kind of like, okay, they recognize they were a terrorist organization, they were a military or paramilitary organization. They didn't recognize what they were doing, so yeah, they consider them terrorists.
They didn't recognize what they were doing. Why would they consider them a terrorist organization? Because they worked for the Nazis, and no other reason. They didn't give a shit what they were doing otherwise.
Yeah. Anyway,
Israel is just a successful ISIS, that's all.
Another thing, I don't know if you saw this, Isa, but a little kid followed the hooligans of the Israeli soccer fans around in Amsterdam and showed them doing all kinds of hooligan shit before the attack occurred. So they gave us false information there.
Oh my god. You're trying to justify what happened the other day in Amsterdam? You're a fucking retard.
Have you ever been
Why do you even care?
Like, what happened? Like, a bunch of people, like, if a bunch of people, white people, showed up to this country, and they were saying, oh no, fuck niggas, or whatever, and shit, and then they got their asses beat, are we gonna feel bad for them?
Yes, because it's not orderly, and they are actually making Amsterdam
Bro, like, you came to this country, and you're trying to be racist, and you get clapped. Like, that's just expected. It's worse than that. Do you know how, like, common football violence is in these types of
I know, I work in football, honey.
Okay, you work in
So you know all about this.
So then
I know.
right.
I work for the organization that organizes these events.
So why are you surprised this happened?
Yeah, why are you surprised?
No, I'm not
How is it
surprised that
helpful?
it happened. I am saying that this is not just football violence.
How is it not just, oh my god.
Because
So,
it's not just football violence, it had political connotation. And it was also part of UEFA of not having additional security around. Because when you know the political temperature are high, you need to put extra security.
So let me ask you that. So the fans who entered the stadium chanting "Kill the Arabs," blah blah blah. Why weren't they? Was it